Hello viewers and welcome back. This is Get Well, Stay Well on Revelation TV. My name is Cyrus Fernando and as always delighted to be joined by Felicity. How you doing?
And here we go with half an hour of emails from the viewers.
Emails, questions, okay. Felicity. Yeah.
Interesting. Right, what have we got first?
Okay, so Colin is asking, he's constantly stressed from his work. What advice can we give to him?
Okay, well, give up work, Colin. That would be the easy one, wouldn't it?
Felicity!
That would be the easy way, but we can't give up work because we have to earn our daily bread. So the best thing he can do is start getting on the right diet, which will detox his body, and then really rethink the mind. And we've had a program today about the niacin, and Dr. Andrew Saul and Dr. Joseph McCullough discussing how the niacin has really helped people. So niacin is basically a B vitamin. It's B3, and if we take some niacin and we get the no flush variety, and also take a B complex with every meal or every juice, so maybe 3 a day, because we're all really low on the vitamin B. And of course we want to take some exercise as well, because vitamin D, when we get out in the sunshine, makes us all feel better. So it's really coming back to balance the body and rebuild the immune system.
I mean, let's talk about vitamin D, and you say exercise and getting a bit of the fresh air. I mean, we're very, very blessed to be in Spain and there's constantly lovely weather, but should we say the UK, who's not as fortunate, what can they do for the vitamin D?
Well, you can take the vitamin D, of course, at Philip Day cells, which is a really good type of vitamin D. And we need to get outside as much as we can, especially in the summer in the UK. So spend your weekends out. I know he's working really hard during the week, but you know, we must get out and even walk, play a sport or whatever he can do. But we have to get out and enjoy God's sunshine, God's fresh air, and relax, have some fun with some other people, maybe team games, as you were talking about, football or whatever. And basically, that's the way we can address the stress. And certainly the food plays a huge part in that. You know, when we're off the meat and dairy, the mad diet, the meat and dairy are so poisonous for us. When we come off those, we do find our stress levels minimize.
Okay, we've got a question here saying, vitamin D, how does that alter the mindset? I think you've just answered that.
Well, you see, because you're out in the fresh air as well, and the vitamin D, some people are so low they're down to about 12, and we should be up in the high 80s. You can go to the Birmingham City Hospital, have a wonderful test that they'll do for anyone. It's a postal test, so you prick your finger, you send the little blood sample to the Birmingham City Hospital, and they're really efficient. For £25 they will do the blood test for you, because most doctors don't know how to do that test anyway. So it's a rather specialist one. And Birmingham City Hospital are really good, really efficient, and will tell you exactly where you are, and then you start supplementing the D, the vitamin D, and then you'll have another test to see when you've reached the max. And basically, if you're living down here in Spain, you're probably getting enough sunshine. If you're living north of the parallel, way up in Ireland, of course, the north of England, northern Europe, certainly people are not getting enough vitamin D naturally.
Okay, well, great. We've got Norman here's asking about bipolar. What advice can you give for that?
Well, again, we just had a really good program with Andrew Saul on tremendous results, and I have also seen tremendous results with people who've been on my emails and asking what they should do. And when they do actually supplement, they can put themselves really, really back in good balance again. It's all about getting back in balance.
Okay. Phyllis is asking about the leaky gut.
Well, when we are very stressed, we burn out the digestive system, because we have hydrochloric acid flooding through the body, and we burn out the little tiny villi that are in the small intestine, and then we get something called a leaky gut, where protein is getting actually right into the bloodstream, things that should not be getting into the bloodstream are getting in. That's why we call it leaky gut. And this will cause a lot of problems. So we need to get back into balance again with the probiotics and the vitamin B.
Okay, we've actually got an interesting clip coming up now. This is by Dr. David Perlmutter, and he's talking about the grain brain. Let's take a look at this.
Well, I mean, we're pretty well told to do whatever it is we want in terms of our lifestyle choices. And then when we get into trouble, i.e. you wake up one morning and you're mentally not where you want to be, or your blood sugar is elevated, or blood pressure is up, or what have you, you know, the Western model is just go to your doctor and get a pill. And, you know, there was a recent publication by a doctor, I believe his name was Dr. Hippocrates, who told us that, you know, let food be your medicine, let medicine be your food. So the idea that food matters a whole heck of a lot for our health is really now suddenly being recognized again. We've come full circle. It's always been really the most important leverage point for not only treating illness, but preventing illness in the first place. And, you know, my reason to be is to bring the notion of preventive medicine to the field of brain science, to the field of neurology, because, you know, it's been neglected for far too long. People have talked about eat a lot of broccoli, it might help reduce your risk of cancer, and be on a heart-smart diet. We can talk about what that really means or should mean. But the brain always got left out of that conversation, and I think that's really what is so exciting about the traction we're getting with Grain Brain. And that is because people have finally been given some information about, gee, the food that you consume plays a role in the destiny of your brain health. So it's really a very exciting time.
How did you come to this research? Give us a little background.
You know, I've been practicing neurology for about a quarter century, and I found personally it to be very unfulfilling. I found myself basically managing people's symptoms day in and day out, writing prescriptions for this and that to manage the smoke, but ignoring the fire. And I really thought that there has to be a reason that people develop dementia, that kids get ADHD, that people become depressed. And to my surprise, as I began researching this 15, 20 years ago, there was lots of literature out there in the peer-reviewed science. It was there. And what was really compelling for me was nobody was talking about it. And it was already there. And of course, there's been this robust expansion of the literature and science to today that lets us know that, in fact, our lifestyle choices matter a whole heck of a lot as it relates to brain health and moment-to-moment brain function. So it's a very empowering idea now that people are getting, that they can influence how their brain is functioning just by, for example, how well they sleep, how much exercise do they get, what supplements do they get, and really, most importantly, what is the diet like? You know, when we get away from eating carbohydrates and recognize that, yes, wheat and wheat-containing foods can pose a threat to brain health, again, it's a very important bit of knowledge. That knowledge is empowering.
And what I love about the book, well, first of all, and congratulations to you, because it is #1 right now on the New York Times bestseller list. So congratulations once again on that.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And what's amazing about it, and the reason people I think are gravitating towards it is because you have a calm way about you in this book too. You're not beating people over the head with sort of demagoguery. You're throwing science at them, and you have, even in our green room the other day when we first met, I joked and brought in a platter of carbohydrates and said, here's some breakfast for you. And you know, you just have a calm way about you because you have this knowing from all of this research. So take us through, give us a little broad overview of the book. For those of our audience, I know many of you have written in today and said, hey, I'm only about 4 chapters into it right now, or I'm about to buy the book. Just give us some broad strokes, then we'll dive into some of these questions.
I think the broad strokes are really well summarized in the subtitle of the book, that is basically the surprising truth about wheat, carbs, and sugar, your brain's silent killers. I mean, who knew that gluten and wheat products pose such a powerful threat to human physiology beyond the brain, for that matter, that, you know, gluten issues can relate to skin, heart, joints, and absolutely relate to the brain. And the bigger picture, I think, is this really devastating effects of carbohydrates and sugar in the diet in terms of compromising brain function and absolutely paving the way for dementia.
Hi there, viewers, and welcome back. We're just so used to, we're ill, we're not feeling well. First thing we do is we go to the doctor gives us a medication, and we just take the doctor's word for it, and I don't know, you tell me, Felicity.
Well, it's a quick fix, isn't it? And we're not taking responsibility for ourselves. We're expecting someone else to sort us out. And the sad truth is that, in fact, we have to sort ourselves out at the end of the day and address the lifestyle change. You know, doctors are wonderful to take an appendix out or to deliver a baby that's, you know, having problems getting born. And the amazing surgery that, you know, has saved so many lives. But with the day-to-day chronic degenerative disease, the doctors themselves say, we don't know how to cure diabetes, we don't know how to, you know, we're not very good at doing quite a lot of chronic degenerative disease. And so people are put on drugs long term, and the pharmaceutical companies obviously make a lot of money on that. What we have to do really is address the cause of why we have a heart problem in the first place, or why we have cancer, what we have done to our bodies, because it's not really in the DNA. We're not supposed to get these things. Our bodies are supposed to work perfectly well until we're a ripe old age. So we have to take responsibility. I think with the internet now, you know, people are getting so much more informed, and it's not always the quick fix that's going to be the right thing in the long term. So that's why I call the course Get Well and Stay Well, because you can put a Band-Aid on something like taking an aspirin for a headache. But if you're stressed out, basically what you've got to do is change the way you're living and you know, arrange your life so that you're not going to be pressured into these dramatic headaches and migraines.
Quite often than not, you take a medication, you take a pill or a tablet, and it might be treating part of the problem, but it's also giving problems somewhere else in your body as well, isn't it?
Well, all drugs cause acidity in the body. They're all chemicals, so they are having a side effect. And it's all very well to have maybe one drug, but it's a cumulative effect of several drugs. Most people my age are on 5 or 6 different drugs, you know, and thank God I have really got out of I don't take any medication at all apart from Ventolin, because I've been left with a breathing problem. So I use the patches for that. That's really good. Put on the lung patches like Beckham does. That's amazing. I'm trying to do everything naturally and not take too many. Even the inhalers, you know, everyone who's got asthma has to have a Ventolin inhaler with them in case you suddenly get an attack that's, you know, provoked maybe by an allergy or smoke. It's smoke that's really bad for people. And so we have to try and build our immune system up. You know, I'm a health educator, and so that's my business, to try and build the health up.
How can food influence or help things like asthma, shall we say?
Well, once people come off the milk and dairy, they will find their breathing is so much better.
I mean, we constantly talk about the MAD diet, the milk and dairy diet. Just right. Explain to our viewers, what is the MAD diet?
Well, I was certainly brought up on the MAD diet, and living in Jersey, you know, with the cattle, so you've got meat and you've got dairy. And it's the same with Ireland, and really all the civilized parts of the world have gone on to this crazy diet, the MAD diet with the meat and dairy. When you come across the civilizations that are still living, you know, in the country, they're having fresh water, they're having the nuts off the trees, they're having the fruits and the seeds, and they're having unprocessed food, then you'll find they do not have heart attacks, they do not have cancer. And so that's why people like Philip Day and all the other doctors, Dr. Edward G. Griffin, Dr. Colin T. Campbell, have written these amazing books on looking at these cultures and saying, what have we done wrong in the West? The interesting thing is that women, say, who come from Japan, where they didn't have any breast cancer, they come into Western society. They come to live in America, for instance, and within a few years, they've got as much cancer as the women who've been living in America all their lives.
So we've talked about the meat. What about the dairy? So avoiding the milk. What advice would you give to children, obviously, who are growing up and that's what they're used to having, milk since they were born?
So you blend a banana instead and you make banana milk. You make the nut milks, you make oat milk, you have rice milk. There's lots of other different kinds of milk apart from the dairy milk.
Just remind our viewers why dairy milk is dangerous.
Because it makes mucoid plaque in the body. And, you know, we were all taught, drink a pint of milk a day and it's really good for you and builds healthy bones. In fact, it also causes osteoporosis, we now know, because the milk turns to acid in the body and the body has to find an alkaline to counteract that acidity. And where does it take it from? The bones. So we're gradually honeycombing our bones when we do a lot of dairy. The only dairy that I do think is okay is yogurt. And so you get a really good yogurt with lots of probiotic, especially bifidus in it, and that is good for us. But to drink the pint of milk a day, you are actually causing problems in the body. So you get the children onto the banana milk. So it's fun, you have your blender, they put the banana in, obviously you've skinned it first, otherwise you're in big trouble, I can tell you. So you blend it with water, and it makes the most delicious white milky drink. You can also put some fruit in with it, so you're making strawberry milk, or you're making apricot milk, or whatever whatever that's fun for them. I make this black currant milk for them, so it's black or sort of mauvey color, and they think that's really cool, you know. So you've got to make life fun.
What advice would you give to our viewers who have problems with their memory? Obviously, we talk about nutrients and food helping our mental and physical state. What about the memory?
Well, we go back to the good old coconut oil. You can't beat the coconut oil. It's absolutely wonderful. And of course, as we've been saying today with Dr. Andrew Saul, we have to have the niacin, which is tremendously helpful, rebalance the brain. You know, I've got these patches now that are amazing for doing that, rebalancing the brain with the hormones and getting the body back into sync. So we can do it, and I think we're better to do it naturally than relying on drugs.
Okay, we constantly talk about the importance of exercise, so let's take a look at our next clip. This is how to burn fat fast by exercise. Let's take a look.
Begin our Burn Fat Fast cardio workout. You can do it. We'll burn calories. Do the best that you can. Give 110%. This is our cardio house party. Yes. Okay. We're going to begin with a good walk, straight forward. It's easy. Here we go. Just take a walk forward, step out, V, and take it back. That's it. Again, V. That's great. And step forward, forward, back, back. Walk it back. Great. Forward. Now, use your hips. Come on. Use your hips. That's it. Great. Hip, hip. Great. Keep it up. That's the goal, to burn fat. Yes, you can do it. Let's add those arms. Woo! Shake it out. Yes, that's it. Use the whole body to burn more fat. That's it. Woo! That's great. Good. That's it. Again, forward. Good. Shake it. Great. Take it back. And shake those hips. Yeah. Good. And shake it out. Have a good time. That's what it's all about. Good. Take it forward. Come on. Get into it. Woo. Yeah. Good. Shake it. Good. One more. Come on. Give it all you got. Woo. That's it. Great. Now let's shake it out. Those hips. Swivel those hips. Come on. Work that waistline now. Come on. Wonderful. Shake it out. Good. You got it. Great for the size of the waistline. We're going to add a little something different. Here we go. Hip, hip, shake. Hip, hip, shuffle. That's it. Excellent. Keep it going. Shake. Good. Smile. We're going to burn calories. Burn fat. Yes, we are. Good. Keep it going. Good. That's it. Last one. Now I want you to shake it up into squat. Come on. Let me shake that booty. Come on, you can do it. Give it all you got. Yeah. Come on, have fun. That's it. Use those thighs. Get lower. That's it. Good. We're going to put it all together. Here we go. Ready? Shake, shake. Oh, that's it. Go. Up, down, up. Again. Swivel. Shake it. That's it. Good. Hold it there. Shake it up. Shake it down. Shake it up. Again. Swivel those hips. Swivel, swivel, shake. Lift. Lower. Good. Again. Hip, hip, go. Hip, hip, go. Hold it right here now. Good. That's it. Okay. Walk it out. We're going to put it all together. Have a good time. Yes, we are. Take a deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good.
Right, so
There
here
you
we
go. And
Good
inhale,
exercise.
and right, and left. Very good.
Good stuff, and they look really pretty as well, didn't they? I thought that was nice, very cheerful.
But at the end of the day, Felicity, exercise can be fun, and that's what it's about as well. I mean, you could see them. There was a group of girls there dancing to some music. They're getting healthy, but it can be fun at the same time.
Absolutely, and it was a beautiful house in the background, I thought, as well. The beautiful view. Yeah, absolutely wonderful, and I think that, you know, wherever we are, wherever we're at, if people are even not well and stuck in bed, at least you can start moving. You know, you can start moving a little bit, whatever you can move, and just get the lymph flowing, get the circulation flowing, and you'll begin to feel better anyway. It just lifts the spirits, doesn't it?
Let's just give an idea to our viewers of the different types of exercise that they can do to start off with. Now, we mentioned about the resistance band. Some of our viewers might not be familiar with the resistance band. Just explain how that works.
Okay, well, that's it's working with the weight of the body against the weight of the body. So you're actually working out. You can work with the resistance bands. You can hold them under your feet, pull them up like this. So you're actually not needing to go to a gym. You're not needing to do any sophisticated exercises. But I have resistance bands. They're absolutely great because you can keep yourself strong and you can do them anywhere. So you can do all kinds of exercises to strengthen the back, the legs, the arms, and they really work. And again, it's what you do. If you're going to look at them and think, I ought to do that, it's not going to work. You've got to actually get out there and do the exercise.
And do it, that's it.
So rebounding as well is a great thing. And I think the rebounding is really important if people are recovering. I've got quite a lot of people recovering at the moment from disease, and so to build up the muscles again, you know, you start with the rebounder. You can get one of those air gliders. That's wonderful, so you can be walking. But of course, the fresh air is the best if people can get out in the fresh air.
And what about the importance of bringing up our children in a healthy environment, in a healthy way, and I guess eating the right foods, exercising, it's another way of bringing the family together as well and staying healthy.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, growing food in the garden, or just going out and being in the garden, playing all the games that, you know, we used to play, taking them for walks with the dog. You know, we used to do that. Hours and hours of walking the dogs, and it was walking the children as well. And it was great fun. So we've really got to get out and be with the children. I think you're really good because you're with your daughter a lot at the weekends.
Yeah.
And it's so important, that time together. Yeah.
Okay, Felicity, we have come towards the end of today's programme. So thank you so much indeed for joining us today, Felicity. And thank you also to our viewers. We have covered a number of items on today's show. Remember that we do have a catch-up service on Revelation TV. It's on our website. It's on www.revelationtv.com. We're also on YouTube. It's youtube.com/RTV Europe. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/RevelationTV. So just remember, it's important that we eat the right foods, protect ourselves. It's about the lifestyle changes that we make, and it's about taking care of ourselves, our family, and the people close around us. So thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you same time next time on Revelation TV. Have a fantastic day and God bless. Bye.